put my school email address in the chat. You're going to need that later, but also just in case you need it, you'll have it. So a couple of things. I asked you to log into your Canvas page for this class. And a couple of things that I want to go over with you. If you'll notice, this individual assignments that was due Monday, the 24th at 3:15 is now not due until Friday, right? Because of the issues there. So a couple of things. If you ever get locked out, timed out, your internet crashes, your tablet crashes, computer, whatever it is, just sign back in. That's why I keep the class meeting link the same. No matter the day of the week, no matter the time, if it's a world history section, that's the link that you're going to go to and put you into contact with me. But what I wanted to do is you should be getting updates through Canvas and through your school email anytime that I update this page, add an assignment, add a module, what have you. So what I've done, and I talked a little bit about this last week, but what I've done is put everything into modules. So if you click on modules on the left-hand side, or if you click on the modules shortcut, what I've done is everything that you have to do in a week is put into one location, right? So week one, everything you have to do in week one is in module one. All right, everything that you have to do for week two is in module two, named, right, for week two. Now, anytime that you have one of these pages with a writing utensil, that's going to be an assignment that's due. This one was the one that was supposed to be due on Monday. I extended that to Friday because of the technical issues. Week two, you'll see that you'll have an assignment here to do before we meet again. This one's due August 31st. But this will be what we go through. And then, as I've said, what will happen is you can follow right along in terms of what we're going to do. So for this module, module 2, we're going to do TCI sign up and login. We're going to talk about what is history, why study history, talk about the 5 themes of history, and then you'll have an assignment in TCI. So you want to make sure that you follow that along. And then the way the module's set up, all you have to do is click next. Once you click next, it will show you what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So go ahead and click into modules. Go ahead and click into modules, and I'll show you what we're going to do in terms of getting you your digital textbook and digital notebook. And we'll go through that process together. Okay, once you're in module 2, the first presentation there is this TCI, and this is the location of the digital textbook and digital notebook. If you click on this, and I'm going to run through this all once, and then we'll go step by step and do it again together. All right? So if you click on this link, it's going to open up a TCI account page. Once you're there, it's going to ask you for a couple of different things. And let me make sure I get the right. You know what? I need to fix that link. It should say sign up, not sign in. Hold off on that link or it's not going to take you to the right spot. Let me update the link. That's why we check. Okay. If you refresh your page, make sure it says sign up at the end. If it says sign up at the end, it'll be the right one. So from there, as I said, you're going to use my teacher email address that I sent through the chat. This is going to be your last name. This is going to be your first name. And then you're going to use your full school email address as your username. Then I would use the same password. You're going to click on create account. When you click on create account, you're going to get a box that looks like this. That box is going to say Econ period 1, Econ period 2, Econ period 3, World History period 4. Underneath that is going to say World History period 6. You're period 4, so you're going to select the period 4 circle next to period 4, choose class, and you will be in. So the steps again, you're going to click on this, make sure it says sign up. If not, hit refresh. You're going to, once you click on this sign up page, you're going to put my school email address there, and that's in the chat room. You want to copy and paste it. You're going to use your last name, your first name, and pay attention that they're asking for your last name first, your first name second. Use your full school email address, and then password, confirm the password, create account. Once you create the account, it's going to ask you to choose the class. Make sure you choose period 4, and you will be in. So I will check as you come in and make sure it's right. Make sure that you use your full school email address. So it's the 6 digits at students-smjuhsd.org. Alex, I'm going to have to change your username to your email address. I'm going to send that to you through the chat. Okay, Matthew, you look good. Grace, yours looks right. Renee, yours looks right. Isaiah looks right. Jesse looks right. Sarah looks right. Josh, I need to change yours. It should be at students, smjuhsd.org. And I'll send that to you through the chat room. I'll double check in Aries and make sure that's what they have you down as. Yep, that's correct. Sarah, yours looks right. Ryan, yours looks right. Cicely, yours looks right. Andrea looks right. Alyssa, yours looks right. And you hear yours looks right. Waiting for 2 more people to sign up. 1 more person to sign up. Okay, so Ava and okay, so just Ava. Ava, you accidentally signed up for period 6 and you have the wrong username. Let me see if I can switch you to classes or if you'll have to do it yourself. Perfect. Okay, so Ava, I was able to switch you to period 4. So you won't have to worry about signing back in and finding it. And then I switched your username to your full email address. And let me double check that that's what the school has. Yep. Okay, so I'll put this in the chat room privately to you. Okay. And so Ava, I set your username, I updated through the chat. Okay, so everybody is signed in. And just real quick, let me show you what that means. So what this means for you is that, like today, we're going to talk about what is history and what are the themes of history. And what that'll allow you to do is to go back and you can read and look up any items that you want, review any items that you want. So yours will be somewhat similar. I've got a few more choices on my left and up here. But basically, you'll be able to go into a different unit. You'll have text that you'll be able to look at and talk about and use, right? And use. So a couple of things. Let me review with you real quick what we did last week in terms of Edmentum, and then we'll talk about the idea about history. What is history? We'll have you look at some pictures and identify themes there, and we'll get you on your way. Okay, so from the learning modules, and we've talked about this, from the learning modules, you can select on the icon here, which is a shortcut, or you can click here. Every week is set into a module. So we went over the TCI sign up and login. I'll show you real quick about Edmentum to make sure that you've got your assignment there finished and completed. What is history? Why do we study history? Talk about the 5 themes of history. And then there'll be one assignment for you to do before next Monday at 3:15. And when we start and carry on. So that's what you are looking at there. Remember that in these modules, when you click next, right? When you click next, it'll take you the next item. Take you the next item. Everything we do in class, everything that's on the video is going to be on your Canvas page. All right, be on your Canvas page. So remember from the home page, click on Student View for you so it looks the same. You can click on Edmentum, or you can go to the school website and click on Edmentum here. What we had you do is make sure that you were able to get into Edmentum and the World History course. There was a Plato orientation in which there were 3 videos. So if you click on Modern World, period 4, you should have next activity or all activities. Plato orientation. And there were 3 videos. One about how the course works, one about a typical lesson, and then how to do well. So when you click on that, it's going to give you an orientation on each one of those items.
Let me show you around. In this video, you'll learn how to find the lessons, activities, and tests you'll need to complete your courses.
All right. Learning experience, what a typical lesson is. And then how to be successful within this type of platform. You were to save or download that. So there should have been an icon in the upper right. If there's not one showing, just move your mouse slowly over this area and it will right below the taskbar. You'll want to save this in a consistent location. So I always save my downloads in the downloads folder. You could create a desktop folder, name it World History, downloads, whatever you want. Save that. When it's done saving, as I said, there was an issue at the district. So this assignment is back open. If you click on that, This blue button is now available again because I set the date now till Friday. You click on that, click on choose file, click on the orientation, go ahead and hit submit, and it will be up and I'll be notified. So one thing that you'll see is when these are resubmitted or submitted, what I do is I get notifications. So this is from my teacher view. If you look here, right, Grok individual assignment logins, I've had one additional one since this afternoon submitted. So they are ready to be graded and looked at. And those are the people that had issues with that. All right, so that's what we did last week. That's how you get to Edmentum. Any questions on that? All right, go ahead and take 1 minute, take a break, go get something to drink, go to the bathroom, come back. We'll start the curriculum and get you through the rest of the day. Stretch your legs, do something. Don't just sit there. Okay, this is all in your week 2 module, but basically, okay, what is history? Why should we study it? Talk a little bit about that. And anybody tell me, what is that stone called? The stone in the picture, what is that called? Anybody have an idea?
Rosetta Stone?
That is correct, Rosetta Stone.
Cobblestone.
Do you know the significance of it?
Oh, wait.
What was that?
It is the Rosetta Stone, you're right. What's the
Okay.
significance of it?
there's multiple languages on it. So,
Yeah, there were three sets of languages. There was Greek, a Demotic language from Europe, and Egyptian
that,
hieroglyphics.
oh,
And what it allowed for was the translation of a number of different things. And so it's seen as one of the most important discoveries in modern times. All right. So this is important because it let them understand different writings from earlier that they had not. What we're going to do is I'm going to divide you up into small groups of 2. There might be a group of 3, but we're going to ask you each to take 2 minutes and discuss some of your earliest memories that you have. So the first prompt with you and your partner is, how would you describe your hometown? How would you describe your hometown? And there should be probably 2 or 3 to a group, depending. Okay. So quickly take about a minute apiece and describe your hometown. Make sure you select join to the breakout room. But how would you describe your hometown? Got about 1 minute to finish. Okay, so my hometown growing up was probably 20,000 when I was really, really young. By the time I left for college, probably about 25,000. One high school, one main strip through town. Lived halfway between Phoenix and Tucson. All right. So first one to prompt 2. As a baby, I was. Okay. As a baby, I was what? Two minutes. Okay, about a minute left. All right. As a baby, this might seem really weird. Of course, it might not matter to many of you, but I was like bleach blonde until like fifth or sixth grade. My hair was blonde as could be. So some of you that have older brothers and sisters have seen me with like darker hair, or now of course going gray, but that's one weird thing about me when I was young. Prompt number 3, one thing someone in my family did that I will never forget is what? All right, something someone in my family did that I will never forget. That's prompt 3. Okay, got about a minute to finish that one up. Okay, so something I'll never forget from somebody in my family is one of my uncles spent 10 years in jail at Lompoc Prison. So financial crime, not any sort of like well, not violent criminal behavior, right? Not assault, murder, something like that, but a financial crime. One of my uncles spent 10 years in jail out in Lompoc before I even knew what Lompoc was. So there's my big news. Prompt number 4, I remember when I first learned how to do what? I remember when I first learned how to do what? Got about a minute left. Remember first, remember when I first learned how to, gosh, I don't know. I remember learning on my grandfather's 1969 Jeep Commando how to drive a stick. I remember the first time I learned how to swim, pretty young. Those are some of the first I remember. On my very first day of school, I remember, right? So the very first day of school, what can you remember from that? So very first day of school, what can you remember? Alex, Jesse, Ryan, make sure you join your breakout room. Your partners are waiting on you. Alex, are you still there? First day of school, probably the farthest back I can remember is second grade, as far back as I can remember. Prompt number 6, one teacher I will never forget is blank because of what? So one teacher you'll never forget and the reason why you won't forget them. Make sure you click on accept breakout room. Got about a minute left to finish that one. Okay, I think we've got everybody back on that one. Whoops. Get to my... Okay, one teacher I'll never forget. There was a shop teacher in junior high, and they probably haven't had corporal punishment in your lifetime, but there was a shop teacher in junior high that taught woodworking and small engines. And I always wanted to take the engine class, but I was worried because he had a paddle that hung in his room behind his desk that was a two-handed paddle, and it had holes in it. He had painted it yellow and called it Old Yeller. And so he would swat kids with that paddle. So when I was in 7th grade, I was taking, this lady's name was Miss Scavo for algebra. Mr. Hyman was the 8th grade teacher, would come next door and tell my teacher, hey, I need you to watch this class because I need to go witness this basically spanking, right? And so even with like the bricks and everything of the school building, you could hear that paddle go through the air with a whoosh and it would hit this kid. So I never took shop because of that. Next to last prompt, the most interesting person I've ever met is who? Most interesting person you've ever met. So it could be famous, could be anybody that you thought was extremely interesting that you have met would be who? Got about a minute left to finish that. Okay, so most interesting person I've met probably three. Played golf with Charles Barkley, former NBA players on TNT or TBS, whatever that NBA show is now. I have met two former governors of Arizona. Well, actually, I met them while they were governors. So Evan Meekum and J5 Simonton, one in the late 80s to early 90s. The other one was in the 90s. Met them both while they were governor, and lo and behold, they were both out of office due to improprieties. So it shows you what I know. Last one, most enjoyable life event so far. So what's the most enjoyable life event that you've had so far? About a minute left to finish. About 10 seconds till they all close. Okay. Best moment, right? Most exciting moment for me, probably the birth of my children. So that's probably the best for me. So when we talk about history and what is history, one of the things that we want to take a look at, right, is how the past affects how we think and what we do, right? How it affects what we think and what we do. There are 5 themes that generally you'll find throughout history. So cultural interaction, let me bring this up on the screen so you can see it. Cultural interaction, human structures, political structures, social structures, human environment interaction. So I'm going to show you a short clip about those 4, and then we'll try to identify some in the pictures, okay? In the pictures. So I'll bring this up real quick. Oops, went one too far. Hold on just a second.
themes to identify patterns in history. Many possible themes can apply to historical events. History Alive, World Connections, highlights 5 themes in world history: cultural interaction, political structures, economic structures, social structures, and human-environment interaction. Studying history with these themes in mind will help you make connections among events and interpret the past. The way cultures interact is a key theme in world history. Throughout history, people of different cultures have exchanged ideas, beliefs, and customs. This spread of cultural influences is known as cultural diffusion. At the same time, people also rejected outside influences and got into conflict over new ideas. The study of how cultures interacted
Can't hear that.
is crucial to our understanding of the world.
Are you supposed to be able to hear it?
Religions, other belief systems, and philosophies. Spread of ideas from science and technology, and artistic influences in painting, music, architecture, literature, and other arts. A second key theme is the creation of political systems and forms of government. Political structures are an important aspect of history and a key element in growth of civilization. The way in which people organize and govern themselves says a great deal about a moving society. Some examples of political structures include forms of government, the nature and growth of empires, political rules and revolutions, regional political organizations such as the European Union and the United Nations. Another important theme is economic structures. Economic movements lie at the core of many human activities, from the quest for food to the pursuit of money. Economic factors have played a critical role in history, driving people and societies to innovate, explore, and expand. At the same time, economic interests have also been a source of great conflict. Some examples of economic structures are the growth of agriculture and the expansion of trade. Another is organized agriculture, the rise of industry, and the development of economic theories that have major impact on people, events, around the world. Another key theme is social structures. In prehistoric times, social groups, people
Okay, so you'll be able to find that in your TCI notebook and textbook. But I wanted to show you a few pictures and have you take a poll on what you think is present. Okay, so I'm going to show you these pictures. There's going to be a poll. Once everybody votes, we can move on to the next one. So the quicker you vote, the better off you'll be. All right. So picture 1, identify where you see each of the 5 things of world history. You're just going to vote in a poll. You won't have to do this. So this Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II, who ruled from 1279 BC to 1213 BC, holds prisoners from Nubia, Libya, and Syria by the hair. So in the first poll, what do you see in terms of the 5 themes? Social structure, political structures, human environment interaction, cultural interaction, economic structure. What do you see? Go ahead and vote. Got one more, and then we can move on to the next one. Awesome. So we'll send that. Most of you put cultural interaction. I'll share the results with you so you can see there. And that is good. Even the one person that put economic structures, right? In terms of class, right? The king is probably more powerful than any of those prisoners from any of those societies. So any of those there that you put would be a great example of that. Picture 2. The medieval painting shows the marriage of the legendary Welsh King Arthur and Guinevere. All right. So it's showing a wedding. Let's go to our second poll. And I'll share those out. You can go ahead and vote. I'm going to share that with you. 47% of you said social, right? That's probably the best example. Human environment interaction, right? Maybe in terms of where they're at, where they're located, right? Would be a good way to look at that. Let's see. Let's go to, this is a good one. This is Cortez. You guys probably studied a little bit of him in your elementary days. So Spanish conquistador Cortez receives gifts from ambassadors from the Aztec Emperor of Montezuma before the arrival of Cortez in the city of Tenochtitlan. So what do you think? In terms of themes of history, what's present there? Got one more to vote to end the tie. We're at 50-50 right now. Oh, economic structure, just keep it in a tie. Unbelievable. So there's your results. 7 of you said cultural interaction, which is probably the best example, easiest example in the picture. 7 of you put human environment interaction, right? And that's probably a good point, right? You had Europeans coming across the ocean to these continents, North America and South America. And then also somebody talked about economics, right? Economics in terms of, right, gifts that they're sharing. I'm sure there's some value in that. Oh, this is a good one. Poor King Louis XVI. He and his wife end up having their heads chopped off. It's a tough way to go. So picture 4, right? Louis XVI has his head chopped off by the guillotine, Paris, 21st of January, 1793, during the French Revolution. There we go. Got everybody voted on that one. Share the results with you. 60% of you said political, right? Most revolutions, things like that, are going to be political. That's the easiest one to pick out from there. A number of you put cultural. Yeah, there was a big cultural difference between those. And there were basically 3 levels of society in France at that time. So there was a big cultural difference. There was a big economic difference. Social structures were different. I've got pictures of Versailles. I went there in April of 2019. It was unbelievable. The size of that estate, really. I've never seen anything in my life that big. And then human environment interaction, you can see there where they're at. All right, let's see. How about picture 5? Here's picture 5. This is from World War I, Christmas Day. Even in World War II, it was pretty common. Both the Allies and the Axis powers would have a truce on Christmas Day. They would all get together, sing Christmas carols, eat together, and then the next day go back to killing each other. So British and German troops hold a temporary truce on Christmas Day, 1914, during World War I. This is the first winter of World War I. Nice, 53% of you, let me share the results there. 53% of you said cultural interaction. Political structures might be in terms of the two sides fighting each other. Economic structure, basically they might be all from the lower class, right? Social structure, human environment interaction, it is very cold there. Right, it is cold there during the winter. Last picture, last thing we got to do here. This is, whoops. Sorry, clicked on the wrong button. Son of a biscuit. Let me click on polls here. So picture number 6, right? These Chinese coal miners recite verses from the quotations of Mao in 1968 during the Cultural Revolution. Mao was the communist leader of China from 1949 until his death in 78, but don't quote me on that. Two more to vote, then I can share them out. Perfect. All right, 33% said political. They are all of one political party. They are the Communist Party. Cultural interaction, they are generally the same, right? Not a lot of differences in what they're wearing. You can see maybe the women's scarves are tied different, but the equipment looks the same. They're all reading out of the same book. Social structure, they're all working in a mine. All those are great examples there of that, okay? And so those are the 5 themes that we'll see throughout. The only thing you need to do between now and next class period, I'm going to show you. So this goes over the 5 themes, right? When you click next, you are going to complete lesson 2, the introduction in TCI over the themes of history. So your assignment before next Monday is you're going to go to TCI. You're going to have to put in my teacher email address. make sure that you log in. You're going to go to, as I said, let me get to the right class. You're going to go to Unit 2, okay, Introduction. There's a small portion of text, but basically reviewed just what we did, and there's 5 questions. So heavy taxes and lack of jobs led people. Immigrants often face discrimination. Immigrants, families work together to build new businesses. U.S. politicians passing laws, and the potato famine in Ireland. You're going to match the 5 themes of history to each of these examples, and then you're going to click Turn In when you're done. So that is what you need to do between now and next Wednesday. Remember that Mondays are office hours only. You can obviously email me anytime. The Zoom link is the same, so you can click on that. On Monday, office hours for period 4 is 11:20 to 12 o'clock. So if you have any questions, you can get in on that time. That's the only thing you need to do between now and next Wednesday. All right? Have a great week. We'll see you later. If you have any questions, you can stick around. If you don't, you can log off.
Is that all we're doing?
That's all we're doing.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.